Probably doesn't have his real name. There's no way to tell who he is, only that he has a special die. Dies and dice. And this guy,
remember one word,
Antonius,
discipline. It's your job to work and pray.
He's giving me a tour.
Serve the Lord now, not your own bodily needs.
Should have eaten before I did this.
Praise be to our Lord Jesus.
You're really gonna want to do the tour. That's almost nice.
This is the way to the dormitory, where we all sleep. You'll find a free bed there, which is now yours. Do you know the first thing the monastery taught me? To appreciate sleep.
A needle in a haystack, well named. Yes, Forensic would rather I hand him over to Justin instead. Our mission is to kill him. Find out which one of the novices is pious. What I know about him is he's one of the novices. Find out which one of the novices is pious. Kill pious. Let me go to the map real quick. See if there's like an inside map here. Of course there isn't. Yeah, if they have a bit of a brown robe, they're actually special.
A place for silent contemplation and meditation. Centuries ago, this monastery was founded by the most esteemed of brothers, Saint Procopius. His earthly remains can be found in a cave under the monastery, and his spirit wanders the corridors at night, punishing the so beware.
If I misbehave, they punish me.
Together with the library. These are the places where we work. Ora et labora. Pray and work.
As a novice, you must always listen to your superior brethren, and above us monks are the prior and the secators, who punish every infraction. You'll know them by the canes they carry. Do what they say. This is the refectory, where we come together to eat. During meals, you must be silent. Only one brother reads aloud from the rule of Saint Benedict.
The rule is the only law we recognize, with the exception of those from God himself. If you break any of its precepts,
sometimes he just stops talking.
the library, the pride of our monastery, a trove of learning. We don't just read books here, we also copy them. You too will learn how. And that's all. Today you are still free from duty, but tomorrow you begin work like the others. If you need anything, ask any of the brothers. We'll be glad to help you. And I recommend you get to know the other novices. You already know me. Then there is Siskin, Yodok, and Lucas.
Thanks for showing me around.
Oh, now I have
There's a
my
lot to
beard.
learn here.
My beard just didn't show the cutscene.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
There's not much to tell. I lived in Vlashim, and after my father died, I found out I wasn't much of a merchant. So I left the shop to my brother, and decided to become a monk. It's peaceful here. There's food and lots of time to read.
So you chose to come here?
It may seem strange, but I'm one of the few novices that did. I might be the only one. The truth is, the idea of spending my life in a monastery was more appealing than being cooped up in a greasy old shop.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Who's in charge of things around here?
Truthfully, everyone except us. But officially, Abbot Peter. And soon enough, someone else. As if it mattered. Our life will still be work and prayer.
I see.
And how do you rise up in the ranks?
Are there any rifts between the brothers?
Yes. From the moment talk began about electing a new abbot, it's been like a hornet's nest here. Strange you haven't noticed.
Tell me something about electing the abbot.
Abbot Peter is old. When he dies, they'll have to select a new abbot from amongst the brethren. The candidates are John and Nevlas. And if you ask me for my opinion, Nevlas is definitely the right man. Unfortunately, no one cares about my opinion because novices get no say.
Tell me something about life here.
Work, prayer, as if you didn't know. We serve God, and that's the central truth of our lives.
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Someone takes care of the library, someone else the garden. The abbot supervises everyone, and in his absence, the prior. But it's the circators you should worry about. They're the brothers who'll make sure we observe the rule. They can be quite strict, so if you want to avoid getting punished, always act righteously and do your duties honestly.
Who would you choose as the new abbot?
Why should I even think about that when I don't have the right to vote? Gregor, don't go poking your nose into other people's business. You'll sleep better at night.
Good that they give you a new
Talk to me.
name.
I'd like to ask...
So what was my quest? Go to bed? Get to know the other novices, go to bed. How many others were there? 2 or 3?
My name's Gregor, a novice.
You can call me Siskin. But are you here of your own free will, or is this a punishment? Although it's not important. Welcome to Purgatory.
Did you say purgatory?
You'll see soon enough. Soon enough.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
Look, nothing against you, but I prefer not to talk about my past.
Are you hiding something? Why are you so reluctant to tell me anything about yourself?
I'm hiding a lousy past that I'd rather forget. I hate to think of all I lost when they stuck me in here. And also because I really hate the question, aren't you the son of the famed Sir Smil Flashka Pardubitz? I was rich and I had everything. But then my father began to feel his time approaching, so he decided to send a son to the monastery. And, being the youngest, a lot fell on me. I've no head for managing the estate, and they said I'd squander it. Can you imagine? Me, in a monastery. So I took what coin I could from home with me, so I didn't lose out completely.
But you didn't have to come here if you didn't want to.
No, not if I didn't mind being left to beg alms by the city gate. I had one choice, the monastery or nothing. If it had come to that after my father's death, so be it. But to get rid of me while he's still alive...
They must have realized you robbed them.
I donated some of the silver to the monastery when I came in, just to piss them off. I can just see my brothers, my siblings, arguing with the abbot to give it back.
And you stashed away the remainder?
Indeed so.
What's your plan with this treasure?
To get out of here as soon as I can. I'll wait another year or two until my hot-headed brothers cool off a bit, and then I'll take the silver and run off somewhere. far, far away from here.
That's all I wanted to know.
Please, keep it to yourself. Especially the part about the coin.
I'm still curious about this treasure trove of yours.
Where did he
It's
hide
no
it?
big, terrible secret. Really, it isn't. I just go and read during services. There's no time otherwise. I mean, at other times, I don't get to read what I like. And I keep it under the slab so the others don't find it.
Actually, I don't care. God save. How is it that you don't get any penance for missing morning prayers?
I've paid off the circators to turn a blind eye. And the other monks don't notice as long as you show your face there from time to time. No one's too awake at that time of the morning.
Who would you elect, Abbot, if you could?
Most likely Nevlas. He's a fine fellow and he seems honest. But, truth be told, it doesn't matter much to me. A monastery will still be a monastery, no matter who's in charge. If you really want to talk more about it, ask Antonius. He seems to have taken an interest.
I'd be interested to hear what you think about the other novices. Tell me about Antonius.
Oh, if there was a monk I'd recommend as a friend, with of course the exception of myself, it would be Antonius. He has a calm soul, he's easy to talk to, and you can always rely on him.
That's all. Thanks. It occurred to me you might be the man to ask. I'm looking for some lockpicks. Do you know anyone in the monastery who could help me?
Lockpicks, eh? I won't ask what for. My advice is to try Brother Solarius.
I'd like to ask... Well, that's all. I'm Gregor, a novice. I saw you at the ceremony.
I know. It was hard not to notice you.
And you are?
Lucas, also a novice. Don't get upset, but I don't want to talk to you. I'm happiest alone.
I'd like to know something about the other novices.
I don't know much, but ask away.
What can you tell me about Siskin?
Not a lot. I don't know him. Actually, I don't know much about him at all. Except that he's not a stickler for rules.
What can you...
Not a...
You really don't know anything about anyone? Well, thanks anyway.
Don't get upset. I'm sorry I can't tell you more.
I'd like to know...
I don't...
Tell me about Antonio.
I'd like to, but there's nothing to tell. I've never spoken.
Now he didn't
You
speak
really
to
don't know
anyone.
anything about...
Don't.
He didn't
Will you
speak
tell
to
me something
anyone.
about yourself?
Guy, there's nothing I can tell you.
I mean, where you're from, what sort of life you had before, that sort of thing.
I'm a novice, and my monastic name is Lucas. Nothing else matters.
Come on. Is there really nothing at all you can tell me?
I could, but I don't want to. I'm sorry. I want to stay focused on work and prayer, not on who I once was. What has been isn't important for us. We cast the past aside when we walked through the monastery gates and took our oath. Never forget that.
He cares about the rules.
Will you...
Guy,
I mean, where you're from. You see, I'm looking for someone here.
you're looking for someone? But you're a novice, aren't you?
I am a novice. At least until I find the man I'm looking for.
Why would you be looking amongst monks? You know, the laws of man aren't valid here. In the cloister, we're subject
But
to
they
divine
patched the
law, the law of the
lockpicking.
church.
But lockpicking was easier than when it came out, definitely.
He had a hand in raising the Neuhoff farm. It's taken many lives.
But you still telling him everything?
But why are you telling me all this?
I don't want to.
Help me. It has to be one of
I mean, he
the
doesn't
novices.
talk to anyone else.
Can't be. Have you told the prior? What are you going to do to this man once you find him?
Talk to him. Then I'll see. Do you have any idea which of the novices could be the imposter I'm looking for?
I don't know, and I don't care to know. I wish you'd never told me. Now I won't be able to sleep at night.
If you could.
But I can't vote, so what's the point of worry?
Yeah, it's just the same things.
Well, that's all.
Now I can ask him what he thinks about
What
him.
troubles you?
So now that I talk to him.
What can you tell me about Lucas?
It's a tricky situation with Lucas. No one really knows anything about him. I've tried so many times to talk to him, but he always backs away like a virgin on a wedding night.
That's all.
Funny how he said that. I'm gonna talk to another monk
Talk
first.
to me, brother.
I'd like to ask you.
Peace be with you, brother.
Can you tell me something about the rule of St.
This is the only rule you have to
7
follow, except the
centuries
rules
ago,
of God.
Saint Benedict of Nursia wrote a collection of monastic rules, which we still follow today. They're read at every meal. The
Oh, the
fundamental
meal, okay.
precepts are obedience, work, and prayer. We're fully devoted to serving God. The outside world beyond the monastery walls is foreign to us.
Do you never want to know what's going on out there?
And what should be going on? The sky is just as blue, and the grass is just as green. Perhaps the rulers change, but the greatest ruler of them all will remain unchanged through the ages.
Right. It's stunk. Why? And it's not the first time.
It's a mystery, and one that'll be.
I'm
soon
Gregor,
solved.
and I'm new here.
It's a wonder the prior doesn't check.
I
the right
know.
breath in the morning.
I saw you in the church during the ceremony. I have a feeling we'll be meeting again soon, and often. You see, I'm a cicator.
What does that mean?
I make sure everyone observes the rule, does their work, and that everything is the way it should be.
And when it's not the way it should be?
But then we're authorized to mete out punishment. But certainly you won't require correction, will you, brother?
I'd like to ask you. What are the roles of the various monks here?
Well, the abbot is the head, but he's not here now. Then there's the prior, the sub-prior, the librarian, the porter, many others. As a novice, you should be particularly mindful of the cicatas. They're the ones who maintain discipline and punish bad behavior.
And how do you rise up in the ranks?
Check everyone's breath in the morning. Then he'd soon get his man.
I mean, it is late. It's only 8. Now, I don't know when to get up for morning prayer. The brother Antonius? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to run or not. I'll wait for him upstairs. This is my bed, where I can sleep and save. Brother Yodok, haven't seen him yet. Yodok.
Waiting pays off. There's no hurry.
Waiting pays off.
Greetings, brother. I'm Gregor, and I'm new here.
Greetings to you, brother. I'm Yodok, the oldest of the novices. I hope you'll like it here in the monastery and that you won't get into trouble.
Trouble?
You're young, perhaps intemperate. You might easily stray from the rules of the Order. I suggest you get to know the older monks. You never know when it might come in handy.
I'm interested. What can you tell me about Siskin?
Well, he's always got a smile on the new friend. But I reckon he don't belong in the monastery. He spends more time dreaming of the world outside than tending to his duties. I'm surprised he hasn't been thrown out already. If it was up to me, he'd be out on his ear right away.
Sounds like you don't have much time for him.
I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. Believe me, Gregor, he's hiding something from us. In fact, now I come to think of it, I haven't seen him at morning prayers for a while.
Do you know anything about Antonius?
Only that he came to the monastery voluntarily, because he didn't want to work in his father's shop. Antonius is alright. You can rely on him. He won't betray your confidence. He's always happy to help, which is more than can be said for the other brothers.
I'm interested in Lucas.
Nobody knows much about Lucas. He keeps himself to himself. If you ask me, he's got something to hide. I'd keep well clear of him if I was you.
Do you have any grounds for suspecting him of something?
Quite a lot. And also none at all. The Circators who make the rounds despise him, and they never punish anyone without cause. Peace be with you, brother.
So I need to sleep. My duties shall begin tomorrow. This is my bed, I think. Oh. I have no idea till what time I'm supposed to. Oh wow, okay. As long as I don't move, it won't matter. Nourishment energy will stay the same anyway, as long as I don't move. I don't know how many parts this will take because I'm locked up in a monastery. No weapons, no nothing. No weapons, no armor, no lockpicks. Shitload of rules. If I don't do my duties, they'll punish me or kick me out. And I need to kill someone, which is not allowed. I doubt I can sneak up to him with all these people around us, so I'm gonna have to kill him. Now I can do this. Great. Today, a woman's lot is supposed to come out. Today. I played a lot yesterday, tried to get the first date, but I mean, it only started yesterday. I think everything I have is... Yeah, everyday labors. Oh, I can read this. Never mind. I need a light to read this. I can't see what they say. Now it should be first light. 5, the sun is really, you know, that's when it's really set. Or there's a... Late. No need to pray.
Can't you see me?
So I know mass starts. How about at 4? 4, 5. I don't have the ability to pray. Everyone does it with their eyes closed. Jesus. This is why I don't like religion. I thought it was gonna end. It can't take much longer. God damn it, still? Did it end? Sun has risen.
Peace be with you, brother.
3 a.m. start the day, 4 a.m. morning prayer, 6 a.m. common meal. Fuck, what was the second? 5 a.m. nothing. 6 a.m. common meal, 8 a.m. work in the fraternity, assignment of Nevlas. 12 new walk the library, afternoon worship, supper, complying free time before resting, retiring. Is it done now? Let's read the rest of that book. Run novices. False schedule describes the daily activities you shall attend to the first year in our monastery. Order and discipline are the cornerstones upon which the order of Saint Benedict is built. Any violations of the schedule thus marked shall be disciplined by the punishment of solitary confinement. Alright, I thought, they'd slap you with their canes. When this meditation that you seek, prayer and study can be substituted for food and sleep. Father Demetrius is the prior. So I was supposed to come up there to say Mass. I mean, I have said Mass before, so...
Not now, brother.
Well, yeah, it was just a song that was saying, Mass is just praying. Praying you can do silently. Stand here. Oh! Yeah, I guess he's checking. He's the one who initiated me? Is that the word? Wonder what condition his shoes are in. Because, you know, they wear, you know, 99 already. The more you walk, if you wear regular shoes, you're gonna need a cobbler set, cobbler kit. Who's he? God, being a monk is boring. I mean, Henry is supposed to be a good Christian. Can't he just pray? Fuck. Let's really skip this. Yes! It's now 6 a.m. If I recall correctly, 6 a.m. was common meal. Common meal, thank God.
Not now, brother. Not now, brother.
I was neglecting.
Brother. Where were you during Mass? Don't tell me you didn't know that Holy Mass is the foundation on which your life here is built.
You're right, brother.
This is your first warning. Don't do it again. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working somewhere? Idle hands are the devil's work.
But you are keeping me from work.
I was feeling a bit queasy.
Brother, I'm sorry, but I don't believe you. This is your second warning.
That's just straight up bullshit. They just don't like me. I mean, these guys aren't working. I'm on my way to work.
And even though he fulfills the command, yet his work will not be acceptable to God, who sees that his heart is
work.
And far from needing a reward for such work as this, he will incur the punishment due to murmurers, unless he anew and make satisfaction. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on the abbot. Therefore, when anyone receives the name of abbot, he ought to govern his disciples with a twofold teaching. That is to say, he should show them all that is good and holy, by his deeds even more than by his words, expounding the Lord's commandments in words to the intelligent among his disciples, but demonstrating the divine precepts by his actions for those of harder hearts and ruder minds. The abbot should always remember what he is and what he is called, and should know that to whom more is committed. From him more is required. Let him make no distinction of persons in the monastery. Let him not love one more than another, unless it be one whom he finds better in good works or in obedience. And let him not shut his eyes to the faults of offenders, but, since he has the authority, let him cut out those faults by the roots as soon as they begin to appear. Remembering the fate of Heli, priest of silence.
Oh shit, silence during meal, I forgot.
Bold, hard, proud, and disobedient characters. He should curb at the very beginning of their ill by stripes and other bodily punishments. Knowing that it is written, the fool is not corrected with words. And again, beat your son with the rod, and you will deliver his soul from death. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on daily life. Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren should be occupied at certain times in manual labor, and again at fixed hours in sacred reading. To that end, we think that the times for each may be prescribed as follows. From Easter until the calends of October. When they come out from prime in the morning, let them labor at whatever is necessary until about the 4th hour. And from the 4th hour until about the 6th, let them apply themselves to reading. After the 6th hour, having left the table, let them rest on their beds in perfect silence, or if anyone may perhaps want to read, let him read to himself in such a way as not to disturb anyone else. Let none be said rather early, at the middle of the 8th hour, and let them again do what work has to be done until vespers. Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned task or craft of such a nature as to keep them from idleness, and at the same time not to overburden them or drive them away with excessive toil. Their weakness must be taken into consideration by the abbot. The rule of Saint Benedict. Readings on daily life. Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore,
Jesus, this guy. I can't move any further.
To that end, we
move up, down, move to here.
From Easter until the calends of October. When they come out from prime in the morning, let them labor at whatever is necessary until about the 4th hour. And from the 4th hour until about the 6th, let them apply themselves to reading. After the 6th hour, having left the table, let them rest on their beds in perfect silence, or if anyone may perhaps want to read, let him read to himself in such a way as not to disturb anyone else. Let none be said rather early, at the middle of the 8th hour, and let them again do what work has to be done until vespers. Weak or sickly brethren should be assigned a task or craft of such a nature as to keep them from idleness, and at the same time not to overburden them or drive them away with excessive toil. Their weakness must be taken into consideration by the abbot.
We can hear footsteps. Oh, he just did a cross. I guess he's done. I'm hearing footsteps. I know what time it is.
Praise be to our Lord Jesus.
Gregor, talk to me.
I'd like to ask you something. Who would you like to be the new abbot?
What kind of question is that? John, of course. Levis isn't the kind of candidate you can take seriously.
Who's in charge of things around here?
Abbot Peter is the administrator of the monastery, but you won't see him. He's always traveling, and on top of that, he's old and infirm. Perhaps the good Lord will bless him with many more years of life.
And what happens when the old abbot dies?
Then we elect a new one.
Are there any candidates to be the new abbot?
Yes, there are. Brothers John and Nevlas. Cursed elections. Since the brothers began talking about them, there's only been strife in the monastery. On one side are brothers who'd like to see John as abbot, On the other, those who support Nevlus, and they seem to be capable of fighting about it forever.
Tell me about John.
John is the Circator and the oldest brother here. It would be only natural if he took the crozier from Peter. He has experience, merit, and composure. He'd lead the monastery wisely.
I'd like to know about Nevlas.
Nevlus manages the monastery's property. He doesn't have the most experience, but his drive and heart are pure, his faith firm, and his ideas rational. Although perhaps he's too keen to change our routines here, which many brothers don't like.
Wouldn't mind waking up a bit later.
Why does it matter so much who wins?
Because the future direction of the monastery hangs in the balance. The younger brothers feel they have to work more than their superior brothers, and that some brothers are more concerned with their own comfort than with worshipping God. The older brothers take a different view. They say the younger monks want privileges they haven't earned, and each side has its own candidate.
I thought politics weren't part of the monastic way of life.
You're right, but we know nothing besides the monastery, and the abbot's decisions can influence our entire life. Some of the brothers take it very personally.
Are there ever any disagreements between the brothers?
Unfortunately, yes. The biggest quarrels right now are about the election of the new abbot. They can already see poor Peter in his grave.
I understand. Are there
Unfortunately,
Maybe he says something different.
Tell me something about...
The old abbot is practically on his deathbed. There are two candidates. Half the monastery wants John, the other half Nevlus. And there's no chance they'll come to an agreement. But you've probably already noticed the atmosphere around here.
Tell me something about life here.
Prayer, work, obedience. That just about sums it up.
I'm interested in the monastery's history.
It was founded by Saint Procopius 500 years ago. After his death,
Yeah,
heretics
900,
occupied
damn.
the place for some time. But then the order was restored and brothers of the true faith returned.
Heretics, you say?
They wanted to worship God with some foreign rituals, in a language foreign to God. They were driven away and their books burned.
What can you tell me about the novices here?
What can I say? You're here to demonstrate your devotion to God and to live a monastic life. After a year, you can make your vows and become a fully fledged brother.
I meant something specific about the brothers that are here.
But you know them yourself. Yorick is an odd one, but he's diligent and eager. Perhaps too eager. Siskin is good company, but a bit too worldly for a monk. Antonius is hardworking and will help with anything, but prays less than he ought. Lucas is as quiet as a mouse, and no one knows much about him. And then we have you, about who I know nothing.
Can you leave the monastery?
Well, where would you go? You have everything you need here. Anyway, all the doors here are closed and locked tight, so no one can get in or out.
Who would you like to be the new abbot?
John, definitely. Compared to him, Nevlus is young and inexperienced. John has the wisdom of age, and he already has the respect that Nevlus will have to earn.
I pressed get up myself. Ethan walking from to side cover Nevlus. The time is almost 8. The nourishment is already at 100. I will be punished with solitary confinement. They also have that in prisons. This is basically a prison. You know. Go to work on attorney. Report to. Okay.
I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know. I saw you at the ceremony. My name is Nevlis, and I'm
No, he's definitely not old.
I'm in charge of the monastery's property, as well as handling trade with the outside world.
That means you get to leave the monastery?
No, not at all. I just write lists and send them out.
I'm interested in the election of the new abbot.
You're not alone. Everyone's so worked up about that, they spent no time considering how they could make the monastery a better place now.
Why? What's wrong with it now?
Many brothers think more about their stomachs than prayer. The older brethren bend the rules of the order to make them fit their interests. So, to balance the scales, they want the novices to lead exemplary lives. Sin abounds here, just as in the outside world.
Why do you want to become abbot?
Because when I see the way things are headed around here, I have no other option. Itinerant preachers speak of the corrupted black heart of the church, and I can't deny there's truth in what they say. I'd like to change things and bring back meaning and esteem to the monastery.
I'll be interested to know more.
I don't like to speak ill of people, but Circuitor John is the worst person the monks could pick to represent them. He's nothing but an old schemer and pedant who preaches water but drinks wine. He's won the older brethren over because they know he won't call an end to their debauchery.
Can you tell me about Abbot Peter?
Peter's wise in the ways of politics and a good shepherd, but as you've already heard, he's old and infirm. The other brothers see him with one foot in the grave, but I still have hope for him. But you, brother, don't let yourself get involved in the games of your superiors. Could you help me with something?
With what?
I'm interested in medicine, and I know there's a cure for the abbot's ailment. With your help, I could find out the details, and together you and I could give old Peter a few more years to do good. What do you say?
What do you need me for?
In order to get the recipe for this medicament, a few rules will need to be broken. Now you know, most of the brothers believe every illness is a message from God, and that it's not our place to deny his will. I, however, think if God sent us not just illnesses, but also the medicine to cure them, then it's our duty to relieve people of their suffering. The cure for Abbot Peter's illness could be contained in one of the books in our library, but it will certainly be amongst the libri prohibiti, the forbidden books, those we aren't permitted to read.
Why are they forbidden?
Because they contain occult and demonic practices, witchcraft and all manner of evil. Or so some people claim. It's nonsense, of course. This is nothing but a book of medicine, albeit one written by a pagan. Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, is universally acknowledged to be a wise man. But here, at some point, someone decided his book was the work of a Saracen devil and must be kept under lock and key. Since then, no one can even talk about the book. But the three wise men were from the East, were they not?
I'm sorry? My conscience won't let me steal.
Pity. I hoped you'd help me.
Yeah, I don't want to, you know.
Ah, Gregor, talk to me.
I've already had my warnings.
I'm here to work.
Excellent. I've been waiting for you. There's the alchemist's laboratory. You'll find ingredients in the chests next to it. I want you to prepare 2 marigold decoctions.
Oh, I've done that
Once you
before.
finish them, you'll find me somewhere nearby. Don't forget to let me know when you're done so I can check them.
There's a chest here. I don't need marigolds, but I don't know what else. Four marigolds, 2 nuts on total. Just check that, just to be sure.
That must have been Brother Cicada. He can't sleep and prays long into the night.
Shit. Well, at least it's on the right page now. Water, a handful of nettle to marigold. Nettle, cook for 1 turn. Leave to cool, don't boil. Cook. So it's not boil. Water. Never said boil. Marigolds. I don't remember this is the way that this should make marigolds. But who am I to question it? 5. Oh fuck. Hold up. I forgot. I make double of... I forgot. I completely forgot about that. Always make 2. Don't I? Oh, I made 3 of them. Damn. Okay, well, whatever. What was I supposed to do? Oh, whoops. Submit the potions to this dude.
What would you like?
I finished my work.
Show me what you've made. Spectacular, Gregor. You've found your talent. Soon enough, you'll be teaching the other novices.
I have 1 myself. Now what? It's almost 8. 8. 12 noon, working in the library. Is there anything else I need to do?
What troubles you?
I know for some people it might take a long time, but not for me. Open. Another one just lost. I wonder, is this, prayer to Saint Wenceslas. Saint Wenceslas, ruler of Bohemia, our prince, intercede for us with God, the Holy Spirit, Kyrie eleison. Heavenly the beautiful kingdom, blessed is he who cometh here, live eternal, fire bright, the Holy Spirit, Kyrie eleison. We ask you for your help. Have mercy upon us, console the sad, drive away all evil, Saint Wenceslas, Kyrie eleison. Lord, have mercy on us. Lord, have mercy on us. Jesus Christ, have mercy on us. Savior of the whole world, have mercy on us, and hear our voices. Lord, give to all of us life and peace and honor. Kyrie eleison. I don't know what that means. I don't speak Latin. Latin is dead. On Saint Wenceslas. It's not too long. On Saint Wenceslas. In Bohemia there was a prince of the name of Vratislaus, and his wife was Dromira. Unto them was born a son, and they gave unto him the name of Wenceslas. After his father's untimely death, he was to sit upon the throne, but having yet been grown of age. His mother ruled the land in his stead, and it was his grandmother, Ludmilla, who cared for his upbringing. His brother was Boleslaus, and they grew up together. Although they had little in common, through God's mercy, Wenceslas learned to read and write. Being learned of books and firm of faith, he could wield a sword as well. But above all it was peace in his country that he did love. He performed many kind acts unto the poor, clothing the naked and feeding the hungry, protecting the servants of God, having many churches erected. He was a paragon for his people, and a ruler that was kind above others. For with his enemies he always did negotiate with good intentions, and they too did kneel before his piety. With his whole heart he exalted God, and the good deeds he performed were innumerable. Thus it was to the surprise of none that the devil planted a seed of hatred in many corrupted men's hearts, and set them against Wenceslas. He urged them, like so many Judases, to revolt against their Lord. And then they did whisper to Boleslaus that his brother wished to take his life. Boleslaus, believing these words, devised a plan out of fear and resentment to take his brother Wenceslas' throne, as well as his life. He knew that whenever a new church was consecrated, Wenceslas would go to that place to pray, and he did justly. When on Sunday, on the feast of St. Cosmas and Damian, he entered Boleslaus' castle, and having attended Mass, he prepared to depart for Prague. His brother, detaining him, invited him to the table to drink, but Wenceslas declined. Early in the morning, Wenceslas rose and hurried to morning Mass. When in front of the church gate, he met his brother. He said unto him, "Brother, last evening you served us well." Boleslaus then, guided by the devil, responded thusly, "And now I shall serve you even better." And as those words left his mouth, he struck Wenceslas a blow to the head with his sword. And Boleslaus' dogs set upon him as well, and together with their master, they killed Wenceslas and left his broken body in front of the church. Boleslaus then set upon his brother's throne. Today Wenceslas has already been sainted, and established to be the patron saint of lands in Bohemia. We call him in times of darkness, and to him we pray, Saint Wenceslas, patron saint of our country, pray for us. I gotta walk again. It's still 10. I didn't know I would learn to read just by reading random books, or get better at reading just by random books. Queen's Court manuscript. Oh, not the last. Bouquet. Breezes raft through princely woods. A maiden hurries to the stream to draw water in iron hoop pail. To the girl a bouquet flows, a fragrant bouquet of violets and roses. And when she reaches for the bouquet, she falls, alas, in the water cold. If only I knew, bouquet so fair, who sowed you in the fertile soil, I'd give a golden ring to him. If I only knew a bouquet so fair, who bound you with a silky stem, I will give him a very pinch from my hair. I would give him the very pinch from my hair. If only I knew a bouquet so fair, who dropped in the water cold, I would give him the reft of my head. Ah, you forest dog, you forest of Mediton, how is you alone are green in winter as in summer? I would fain not weep, nor grieve my heart, but tell me true, good people, who will not cry thus? Where is my father, dear father? He is lying in his grave. Where is my mother, good mother, the grass that grows above me? I have no brother, I have no sister. Young men took her from me. The rule of Saint Benedict I. Already had that heard during breakfast. And I thought I got up early. These guys get up at 4. Silence. Let us act in accordance with that saying of the prophet. I have said, I will keep my ways, that I offend not with my tongue. I have been watchful of my mouth. I held my peace and humbled myself, and was silent from speaking even good things. If therefore, according to a saying of the prophet, we are at times to abstain, for silence sake, even from good talk, how much more ought we to refrain from evil words on account of the guilt and penalty of the sin. Therefore, because of the importance of silence, let leave to speak be seldom given, even to perfect disciples, although their words of good and holy matters, tending unto identification, because it is written, in much speaking thou shalt not escape sin. And in another place, death and life are in the hands of the tongue, for it behoveth a master to speak and teach, and it beseemeth the disciple to hold his peace and listen. If therefore anything must be asked of the prior, let it be done with all humility, subjection, and reverence, that who he asks may not seem to speak more than is necessary. But as for buffoonery, idle words, or such as move to laughter, we utterly condemn and forbid them in all places, nor do we at the disciple to open his mouth to give them utterance. And they remain with it. Idleness is the enemy of the soul. Therefore, the brethren ought to be employed at certain times in laboring with their hands, and other fixed times in holy reading. Wherefore we think that both these occasions may be well ordered thus, from Easter till the 1st of October. Let them on going forth from prime labor at whatever they are required till about the 4th hour. From the 4th till close upon the 6th hour, let them be employed in reading, and rising from table after the 6th hour, let them rest on their beds with all silence. Or if perchance one of them shall desire to read, let them read in such a way as not to disturb anyone else. Let none be set seasonably at about the middle of the 8th hour, and after that let them work at what they have to do till the evening. If the situation of the place or their poverty require them to labor in reaping their calm, let them not be saddened thereat. For then they are monks in very deed, when they live by the labor of their hands, as our fathers and apostles did before us. Yet let all things be done with moderation, for the sake of the faint-hearted. 11. I think I can read one more book. The Travels of Sir John Mandeville. Can we read any fiction books, you know, like, for fun? Oh wait, I forgot, they don't know about what fun is. India. From the land of the Moors, one travels to India by way of countries and mountains of various sizes, and the Indian lands are divided into three. The first is called the Greater, which has in it too much heat. The second, the Middle, which is not so hot. The third is called the Lesser, and is so called that the water turns to crystals on rock, and these are the crystals that the merchants bring here. In India, there are many different kingdoms, strange customs, and passions, people, and animals. It is called India after the river Indus, which flows through it, and the people who live beside the waterway are wise and ugly, and they hunt eels in the river that are more than 30 feet long. Just saying, these people are ugly. This what I want to say are wise and ugly, and they hunt eels in the river that are more than 30 feet long. There are as many as 5,000 islands in the sea, on each of which different laws and customs prevail. Each of them is a whole country with a king and his subjects, and there are thousands of castles and towns, and countless people. Although they are unknown to us, for few people travel out of India, because wherever they should go, they will be homesick for their country, and also because on your travels you will encounter many cutthroats, and also there live the many terrible beasts and poisonous worms, and the oceans are so dangerous one would hardly swim there, and in some places is the heat so great that in the daytime people are burnt to death by the sun. People here are sick too, and from the heat the intestines come out of their bodies, and in this land no iron or other metal is allowed, for in the land are many magnetic rocks, and therefore if a ship should have such metals in it, it would be drawn onto the cliffs, and everyone on it would die. Now, are there more books here?
What do you desire?
Tell me about yourself.
I'm the provost of this monastery. It's my job to ensure the monks live a humble life and that any surpluses go to the poor. But in reality, I spend all my time making sure my brother's gluttony and the construction of a new church don't swallow up the few resources we have left.
Is there any way I could help you get elected? Somehow tip the scales in your favor?
What would you like to do? Climb up the tower and shout, "Vote for Nevlis, vote for Nevlis"?
Not exactly. You do have an opponent, John.
John isn't my opponent, he's my brother. Just like you and everyone else here. We're all brothers in Christ. But there is something you could help me with. You must know there's a great deal of iniquity here in the monastery. I'd be interested to hear of anything I don't know about.
Should I find out for you what's going on around here?
Let me make this clear. I want to base my candidacy on putting things in order. But if I don't know exactly what's wrong, then my promises are just empty slogans.
Very good then. I'll find out what I can.
Thank you, brother.
Find out for Brother Nevlis about any wrongs being committed in the monastery.
You mentioned you need help with something. Can you tell me more about it?
So you've changed your mind. I need to find a cure for Abbot Peter's illness, but I can't do it by...
Yeah,
You can count on my help. What do you need me to do?
In order to get the recipe for this medicament, I, however, think if God sent us not just the cure for Abbot Peter's illness...
yeah.
Is there anything you can tell me that would help?
There's a key to the cabinet in the prior's chambers. The librarian should have another one. Or you can acquire some lockpicks. But I can't tell you where or how. Perhaps Brother Celerius could help.
Where can I find it?
In the library, there's a large cabinet with a lock on it. The forbidden books are inside. You'll easily recognize what you're looking for. The cover has not only a Latin inscription, but also Saracen letters. Bring it to me, but leave the other books there. No one will notice if one book disappears, but if more were to vanish, someone would certainly begin to look into it, which is exactly what we don't want.
Why can't you do it yourself?
Because I'm one of the highest-ranking monks here, and one day I'd like to become abbot. Can you imagine me crawling around in the black of night searching for a forbidden book?
You could just ask for it.
Do you honestly think I haven't tried? Unfortunately, Librarian Cyril is a stubborn ass.
I'm ready.
One more important thing. There's always someone in the library during the day. To pass unwatched, you'll need to go at night. It's locked, but I'm sure you'll manage to get in. They say Brother Solarius understands locks, but don't tell him why you need it. Once you have the book, bring it to me, and I'll then use it to make Peter's medicine. We'll soon have the election of the abbot over and done with.
What do you want me to find out?
I'd be interested to hear about any iniquity in the monastery. I need to prepare myself for what I'll be facing.
Monk, monk, monk. You could just, feed him potions until he passes out. Start with marigold. I think it never hurts. Artemisia uses strange visions, but it has helped people in the past. Charles IV, the previous king. Pick up, no one said it's steal. Skitron, support the brother Cyril, the librarian. I accidentally went to the wrong room.
I'm here to work.
Good. This is most likely the first time you've ever done this in your life.
What?
But it's easier than you think. Just a bit of practice and learning Latin. Here's the original, and here are the blank parchments on which you'll copy what you read in the original. Is that clear? Then you may begin, and try not to make a mess of it.
Brother? What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be working somewhere? Idle hands.
Yes, I was on my way.
I had other affairs that needed to be attended to immediately. It will never happen again.
Brother? I wasn't born yesterday. Now,
No, you're
this
older
is
than
your
me.
third warning. And do you know what that means? A day in solitary confinement.
Very well, brother. I accept my punishment.
I
Now,
I
show
didn't
me
know
what
where
you
to
have on
go.
you. I must confiscate anything that is not allowed in the monastery.
I have some books. This is bullshit. I was on my way there and I didn't know how to get there. That's bullshit. At 4 I need to get to Mass. This just hurts. This is basically what a turn-based game feels like to me. This is not a turn-based game, but this is what it feels like. You do nothing, and then you can finally do something, and then that's done immediately. It's also what the simulators feel like to me. They're just so boring. You never get it done. Now, do I get 2 more warnings before I have to do this again? I wouldn't be surprised if I get a warning because I didn't do my work. I mean, you set 1 foot in a room. Oh, I'm not supposed to be here. You put your foot back out, and they immediately think like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here.
While I was locked up, someone was making quite a racket in the cellar. Blind drunk, I'm sure of it. I wonder what's been going on.
Gambling, apparently. Trespassing. Not anymore. C. Go to the church for morning mass.
Can't you see where it...
No, not really. I should just take a shitload of books.
Can't you see where I'm...
No time passes while you're here. They took all my books. I'll wait the first hour because nothing happens anyway. Then I gotta go eat. Then at 8 I gotta go work. Every day. Oh, and I can't do the 20. Yeah, you don't fucking say. Of course there's a tournament. There's a tournament every day. I accidentally stepped in a room for a meal. for food before I eat. Jesus, this is just retarded. Couldn't they have made this a bit better? Are there records of someone being killed in a monastery, in this monastery? Just gonna wait a little longer. Any second now. Any second now. Come on. Come on. So I can get on with what I was doing. Oh, no, don't leave just yet. And you're breaking the rule, you're breaking the rules, you're breaking the rule. I'm all breaking the rules right now. Now I can eat.
This is the virtue of those who hold nothing dearer to them than Christ, who, because of the holy service they have professed, and the fear of hell and the glory of life everlasting, as soon as anything has been ordered by the superior, receive it as a divine commandment and cannot suffer.
You don't think I'm gonna do this again, right? Man, being a monk is boring. You eat for 2 hours long. I'm done within an hour. I'll skip lunch a lot of times. No, what the fuck? Hope I didn't get caught.
Ah, prego.
I'm here to work.
Excellent. I've been waiting for you. There's the alchemists. Today it's your task to concoct 2 potions. Once you finish them, you'll find...
Digestive potion. I know how to make that. Good. I already had that recipe. It's not too far in here. 2 chamomile, 1 mint. How many do I need to make? 2 chamomile, 1 mint. Two. 4 chamomile, 2 mint. Whatever, I don't need what I have. I don't. There's not. They don't have what I need. It's not my fault. Two chamomile, 1 mint. Oh, there is what I need. All right. But I need to make 2 of them, so. And as I can see, there's 20 marigold and 20 nettle, so I guess it automatically restocks every day. Nice. You'll need spirits, a handful of milk, 2 chunks. Grind the chunks, drop everything in the cauldron and boil for 1 turn. Spirits. It slightly changes color as soon as you're done. You see that? Change slightly in color.
Praise be to Christ, brother.
I'll read that page and then I'll find out. Wait, who do I need to... Burn Nevlis.
Ah, Rick.
I finished my work.
Show me what you've made. Spectacular, Gregor. You've found your talent.
Now let's find, now let's see that page. It's probably in quest objectives. Page torn from book. Maybe I can only read it when no one can see me. Like here.
Talk to me, brother.
I found this piece of parchment. It looks like it's been ripped out of a book.
I've no idea. Why don't you ask Brother Librarian?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to leave here. God damn. Try to take a step out, you know? But let me just check this real quick, just to be sure. 12. Okay, so I can wait until there. But it seems like I got to end it, and I haven't ever worked in the library yet, so I'll start when I'm at the library. I'll start another stream when I'm at the library.